So you're looking to buy a used camera. Say no more, fam. Here are the things that you should look for when buying a used camera. And I'm assuming that this will be your first expensive camera, and that is why I made this video. So get ready, prepare to write it down if you need to. This video is sponsored by Artlist, but more on that later. So there will be a difference when buying a used camera for video and for photo, but in this video, I will just put it all together. First and foremost, the most obvious one is the shutter count. Browsing around used cameras is usually easier when just taking a look at the photos, but treat shutter count as the mileage of the camera. Usually mirrorless cameras are rated from 200 to 300,000 shutter count, but basically we don't want to buy anything expensive around that range just because you're almost hitting the limit. If you don't know how to check the shutter count of the camera, all you have to do is take a random photo, go to websites such as shuttertool.com or camerashuttercount.com, upload that photo you just took, and there you'll be able to tell how much shutter count the camera has. For videos, I haven't seen any recording hour settings that can display the total amount of recording hours the camera has, so it's a bit tricky and it will come down to internal functions, mechanism if they work properly. Once you've sent that first question, second is to check the seller's social media profiles. This is specifically for Facebook. I usually take a look at the profile of the seller, and I also search for his or her Instagram account and other social media presence for obvious reasons. One is to check if this person actually exists and you're not lured by a scam or some sort. Two, does the seller do photography and videography professionally, or maybe a hobbyist, because it can really tell how much the camera is being used. Third, for safety reasons, obviously you don't want to deal with any sketchy people in general. And fourth, he or she might actually turn out nice and maybe become friends in the industry, or so that you can come after them if there's something wrong with the camera. Next, double check the time and release date of that camera so you have an idea of what is the use value of that camera, and I strongly advise for you to check the price range of that in the marketplace so you know if you can respectfully bargain the price lower. If you don't know where to start, usually a hobbyist or even a casual photographer has a range of 5,000 to 10,000 shutter count per year. For a part-timer or someone who uses their camera as a side hustle, they range around 10,000 to 30,000 shutter per year. And for a professional, it's typically around 30,000 and above per year. This was based on my experience and all the interactions throughout my career. So knowing when they purchased the camera and if they can provide a receipt, it's even better, and just try to divide the years from the shutter count and see where they belong to. Also, you can reference your price by finding the lowest price per shutter count in that marketplace. Let's say a camera is for sale for $1,800 at 50K shutter count. Then you found another one that is $2,000 at 30K shutter count, and then $2,500 at 10K shutter count. This is just an example, so if someone is selling that camera that you like for $2,000 at a 5,000 shutter count, then that's probably a good deal. Get what I mean? The fourth one is to know the timing of the year. Usually people start selling their cameras when there's a new camera launch or close to pre-order sales. For Sony, I usually go and check Sony Alpha rumors just in case. Also, be aware of holiday events such as Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Boxing Day, or even Prime Day and other shopping events. You can use this to your advantage by waiting on those events to occur so you have more bargaining power on these prices. Or if that camera goes in a really good sale, then probably just buy it new so that you're not running into any risk. Now, make sure you have these questions answered during your online interaction or in their description. 1, of course, the shutter count. 2, the condition of the camera with photos. 3, the reason for selling. It's just good to know, and sometimes you can tell if the seller is BS. 4, the pricing that both of you agreed on. 5, meeting in a safe location. 6, contact information, preferably phone number or email. 7, payment method. Personally, I would ask the seller for his preferred method, and it usually comes down to either cash or e-transfer. Anything that is sketchy, just avoid it. Once you've locked in the price deal, contact information, time, and a safe location, usually in public places, then it's time to meet up. When checking the camera, you have to look for certain things, and based on my experience, a hobbyist has the best condition because the camera is not often used, and most of the time it's sitting in the corner and they only use it when they have free time. And in most cases, if the camera is 3 years old and the seller is a professional photographer or videographer, the camera usually has a few scratches, the coating might be a little damaged or even worse, and you'll find a wear and tear condition. Unless you found a seller that really takes care of their camera, some even put skin on it, so it just really depends on the individual or the price that you agreed on with that condition. If you're looking to buy a camera with a flippy screen, then make sure to check the rotating mechanism and make sure it doesn't have any unusual wobbles, because it's one of the biggest red flags in my opinion. Also check the screen if there's any major scratches or dead pixel. If you want to check the sensor for dead pixel, all you have to do is put the lens cap back on and set the ISO to the lowest, around 100 to 200, and take a photo. And then check if there's any white pixel. Don't forget to check the focus function on the display. If the display allows you to touch focus, that would be nice to test as well. Also try different focus areas and touch follow focus if it's working as intended to. While you're at it, test out the drive mode by changing it from single shooting to continuous shooting and hear if there's any unusual sound coming from the shutter, just in case. Also check out the viewfinder and its focus mechanism if it's working properly. Inspect the SD card slots, test it out and make sure the springs are working properly, because I had an issue with my SD card slots before. It got stuck and I busted one of the springs, so I have to send it over to Sony for repair, which is a bummer because I have upcoming projects. Don't forget to check other ports and covers because one can be busted or wobbly. For videographers, it's usually the HDMI port, the Type-C, and the audio jack. But of course, just to remind you, it all depends on what the seller promises and his price. You can't just expect a used camera to be as new or in perfect condition. Check if all the buttons are working properly, especially the scroll wheel because it's one of the most used buttons. And again, check for any unusual wobbles or even defective buttons and modes if they're navigating properly. Usually these buttons gets pretty soft to press over time, especially the scroll wheel. Also check the battery if it's a legit battery from Sony. Next, check the lens mount and look for any major scratches so you can tell how it was treated before. Minor scratches are fine. Also check the connection pins if it's properly showing the lens aperture real time. Most importantly, bring a dust blower so you can check the sensor if there's any scratches or damages, because that would be a no-no for me. Speaking of no-no, this one is a yes for me. Let me tell you about the sponsor of this video, Artlist. Artlist is a platform where you can get high quality creative assets for your videos. From highly curated music and sound effects that they always update, story-driven stock footages where you can even create a complete scene, AI voiceovers featuring exclusive voices that can be customized, templates to put that cherry on top of your videos, plugins for you to easily integrate it to your editing software, and now introducing Premium LUTs, giving your videos a professional aesthetics with a catalog of 300 LUTs, crafted by industry expert colorists while simplifying it by style and tone, and as well as filtering it by saturation, temperature, and contrast. So you can easily find the right aesthetic for your project and make color grading so much faster. At this point, Artlist has become one of the top sources for creative assets with so many features, very flexible pricing, unlimited downloads to all plans, and even offering Artlist Max at a very affordable price, which includes all the creative assets and features that I just mentioned for you to create a professional video. And I would say that's just crazy, man. So head to artlist.io, sign up for free, and try some of their incredible assets. And when you're ready, I got you 2 months for free if you sign up for an annual plan. Of course, link in the description below. Thanks again, Artlist, for sponsoring this video. Next, I recommend bringing a laptop or a portable SD card reader to verify the shutter count. I know it can be a nitty-gritty process from this, but it's better to be safe than sorry. If you're buying the camera with the kit lens, it's also the best time to check the lens for any scratches or any malfunction. Usually for people who knows what their focal length is, they know exactly what they want for the lens, so they don't end up using the kit lens itself, so it's probably new. But just in case, double check it. If not, then I would recommend you to bring your own lens or borrow from someone you know so you can actually test the camera. Or just ask the seller to bring one of his lens, they're usually open for that. Also, I would check for the navigation menu if it's responsive or not, or look for some sort of software bugs or anything, just because sometimes firmware updates are not properly done. You also might look for any watermarks or sand in those corners, just so you have an idea where this camera has been through. Lastly, make sure all the accessories are in the package that you agreed on. Generally, if the condition looks and feels new, then it's a good sign. Or ask yourself if the overall condition matches what the seller claims to be with his price. Keep in mind that buying any gears in general doesn't usually come with any warranty. And I know that cameras can be very expensive, so I would highly recommend for you to do your own research first beforehand, just like this video. Know the specs, the weight, the recording limit, the feature, and everything that the camera has to offer so that you know what you're getting into. Also, trust me on this, if the deal sounds too good to be true, then it probably is, just based on experience, and that is why you just have to be very careful. And as I said, it's better to be safe than sorry. That is why doing your own research and proper inspection of the camera is the way to go. So before you go and purchase that used camera, here is a checklist for you of what I mentioned. Feel free to pause this video or write it down or just take a screenshot. As an alternative, you can also consider buying a used camera from a reputable store. Just make sure that you read the return policy or have a guaranteed return, especially online purchases, just because you'll never know. Now, in terms of you accidentally bought a stolen camera, this one is really hard to catch, just because it usually goes with a serial number, matches the seller's information, if they registered it. But it's another whole process. That is why having a copy of the receipt is the way to go, unless we assume everyone is good at will. Lastly, upon checking the camera and you see a lot of red flags, or even just your gut feeling says it's not for you, then I would suggest don't buy it. I'm sure there's more opportunities out there, or maybe even consider other options, and don't be afraid to say no during the meetup, just because in the end of the day, it's your hard-earned money. Of course, if I was the seller, then I would be a little salty, but what can I do? Once you have the camera, don't forget to restore to default and update the firmware. Also, clean it up and dust it up a bit. So enjoy your new used camera and spend some time setting it up to your preference. So do let me know if I forgot something. Feel free to ask those questions down in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel because there's a large portion of you that are not. Hit like for the algorithm. Follow me on my social medias. And as always, have a great day. Stay faithful. And here are some of my videos if you want to check my channel. Peace out.